The Bloomberg alert came through at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Orbital Systems Corp announces acquisition by SpaceX for $2.8 billion. Founder James Chin credited with revolutionary launch automation software. I was in my apartment in Pasadena, making coffee before my shift at JPL, when I saw the notification. My hand froze halfway to the coffee maker. Orbital Systems Corporation. My brother's company. The company I'd spent 4 years engineering the core software for. The launch automation system I'd designed from scratch. My work. James's company. $2.8 billion. I pulled up the full article. There was a photo of James shaking hands with Elon Musk, both of them smiling. The text described James as the visionary founder who developed groundbreaking launch automation technology that reduces pre-flight preparation from weeks to days. No mention of me. No mention of Dr. Maya Chin, the aerospace engineer with 3 advanced degrees and NASA certification who'd written every critical line of code in that system. Just James, the MBA with a business plan and a talent for networking. My phone rang. My mother, her voice bright with excitement. Maya, did you see the news? Your brother sold his company for $2.8 billion. Can you believe it? We're flying to Turks and Caicos next week to celebrate. James is buying us a villa. Mom, that's my software. I designed that system. Well, you helped certainly. But James built the company. He secured the funding, managed the team, landed the SpaceX deal. You should be proud of him, Maya. This is a huge moment for our family. I didn't help. I built it. I'm the primary developer. My security clearance is embedded in the core code. Maya, don't be jealous. It's unbecoming. James worked incredibly hard on this. Let him have his moment. She hung up before I could respond. I called James at 7:23 a.m. He answered on the 4th ring, champagne and celebration audible in the background. Maya, I was going to call you. Did you see the announcement? $2.8 billion. This is insane. The deal closes next week. James, you told investors you developed the launch automation system. I built the company around your code, yes. But the system wouldn't exist without my vision and business strategy. I turned your engineering work into a viable commercial product. I'm not mentioned anywhere in the press release. It says you developed the technology. Because I own the company, Maya. That's how intellectual property works. Look, you're getting your payout. Your equity stake is 8%, so that's like $224 million after taxes. That's generational wealth. You should be celebrating, not nitpicking about credit. 8%? My original equity was 35%. That was before the Series A, Series B, and executive compensation adjustments. It's all documented in the shareholder agreements you signed. Look, I really need to get back to the party. SpaceX integration team is here. We can talk about this later. James, my security clearance is embedded in the code. The system won't operate without my authorization. Does SpaceX know that? Boss. What are you talking about? The launch automation system. I built it with multi-level security protocols. My biometric authentication and clearance codes are required for any operational deployment. It's a safety feature mandated by the FAA for autonomous launch systems. You can transfer that authorization to SpaceX, obviously. Not obviously. The system was certified under my credentials. Any transfer requires FAA recertification, which takes 18 to 24 months. James's voice went cold. Maya, don't even think about sabotaging this deal. That would be corporate suicide. I'm not sabotaging anything. I'm telling you the technical reality of a system you just sold without understanding how it works. We'll figure it out. SpaceX has the best engineers in the world. They'll handle the authorization transfer. Not without me, they won't. I hung up and immediately called my contact at the FAA. A certification officer named Dr. Robert Hassan who'd overseen the original launch system approval. Dr. Chin, he answered. I saw the news about the SpaceX acquisition. Congratulations. Robert, I need to verify something. The orbital systems launch automation. Who holds the primary operational clearance? You do. The system was certified under your credentials as the principal engineer. Your biometric authentication is built into the safety protocols. Can anyone else authorize operational deployment? Not without recertification. The system was approved based on your specific qualifications and security clearance. If SpaceX wants to modify the authorization structure, they'll need to submit new certification applications and undergo the full review process. How long does that take? For a system this complex? 2 years minimum. And that's assuming the modifications pass review, which isn't guaranteed. After the call, I pulled up the Orbital Systems codebase. I still had full access. Nobody had revoked my credentials yet. I found the authorization protocols buried in the safety systems. Every operational deployment required my biometric scan, my security code, and verification through the FAA's certification database. It was a safeguard I'd insisted on when designing the system. Autonomous launch technology was too dangerous to operate without multiple layers of human oversight. The FAA had agreed and mandated the security protocols as a condition of certification. Those protocols made me the only person who could legally authorize the system to control an actual rocket launch. At 2:34 p.m., I received an urgent email from SpaceX's integration team. Dr. Chen, we're beginning deployment of the orbital systems automation for our next Starlink launch, scheduled for November 3rd. We need your authorization credentials and biometric data for system activation. Please respond immediately. I replied, I need to review the acquisition documents and employee transfer agreements before providing any authorization. Please send all relevant contracts. The response came 19 minutes later. All acquisition paperwork was completed with Orbital Systems Corporation. Your authorization is required for operational deployment. The launch is in 12 days. Please provide credentials immediately. I wrote back, I haven't signed any employee transfer agreements. I haven't consented to system authorization transfer. Until these issues are resolved, I cannot provide operational clearance. 23 minutes later, James called. His voice was tight with controlled fury. What are you doing? SpaceX is asking why you won't provide authorization. This is sabotage, Maya. This is protecting intellectual property I designed under my security clearance. You sold a system you don't have legal authority to deploy. You're an employee of Orbital Systems. I own the company. I don't need your permission. Actually, you do. When the system is FAA certified under my personal credentials. When my security clearance is the only authorization that makes the system legally operable. You're blackmailing me. I'm correcting a misrepresentation. You sold SpaceX a launch automation system you can't deliver without my cooperation. That's fraud, James. What do you want? I want my original equity stake restored, 35% of the sale price. I want formal credit as the principal engineer and system architect. And I want a direct employment contract with SpaceX that reflects my actual role. That's impossible. The deal is signed. I can't renegotiate now. Then you have a $2.8 billion contract for technology that can't be legally used. I'm sure SpaceX will be thrilled. You're destroying everything. Our parents, the investors, everyone is depending on this deal. You destroyed it when you misrepresented who built the system. I'm just refusing to enable your fraud. He hung up. For the next 8 hours my phone exploded. James's lawyers threatening legal action. SpaceX's general counsel requesting emergency meetings. Orbital Systems investors demanding explanations. At 6:52 p.m., I received a call from someone who introduced herself as Dr. Sarah Kimura, SpaceX's VP of Launch Operations. Dr. Chen, I've reviewed the situation. I've also reviewed your credentials. 3 PhDs in aerospace engineering, NASA certification, principal architect of the orbital automation system. Is all of that accurate? Yes. And the system can't operate without your authorization because it's FAA certified under your credentials? Correct. The safety protocols require my biometric authentication and security clearance. Any modification requires recertification, which takes approximately 2 years. Dr. Kimura was quiet for a moment. Dr. Chen, we paid $2.8 billion for launch automation technology. If that technology can't be deployed without your authorization, and you're refusing to provide that authorization, we have a significant problem. I understand. I've also examined the code repository. Your commits represent 94% of the core system. Your brother's contributions are primarily documentation and project management files. I said nothing. We were told your brother was the principal engineer. That was false. We were told the system could be freely deployed. That was also false. Dr. Chen, we're prepared to renegotiate. What would it take for you to authorize the system and join SpaceX? I want my original equity stake recognized, 35% of the acquisition price. I want a senior engineering position with appropriate compensation. And I want credit for my work. Let me make some calls. At 9:47 p.m. I received a new contract from SpaceX. Senior Launch Systems Engineer. $420,000 annual salary plus equity. And a separate document. An amended acquisition agreement recognizing my 35% stake in Orbital Systems, worth $980 million. James called at 10:15 p.m., his voice raw with rage. You just cost me $980 million. Do you understand that? You destroyed my payout. My reputation. Everything I built. You didn't build anything, James. You took credit for work I did and sold it as your own. The consequences are yours. I raised the funding. I built the company. I landed the SpaceX deal. You just wrote code. I wrote code that you can't deploy without me. Code that's worthless to SpaceX unless I authorize it. You gambled that nobody would check who actually built the system. You lost. The investors are furious. They're talking about fraud investigations and clawback provisions. Mom and Dad are devastated. This is your fault. This is your fault for lying about who developed the technology. I'm just refusing to enable that lie. He hung up. The next morning, SpaceX published an updated press release. SpaceX announces amended acquisition of Orbital Systems Corp. And appointment of Dr. Maya Chen as Senior Launch Systems Engineer. Dr. Chen, the principal architect of the orbital automation technology, will lead system integration and continued development. The tech media picked up the story within hours. SpaceX deal reveals disputed credit for launch technology. Female engineer reclaims recognition in $2.8 billion acquisition. James Chen faces questions about misrepresenting technical contributions. My phone filled with messages. Former colleagues apologizing for not recognizing my role. Journalists requesting interviews. LinkedIn connection requests from hundreds of aerospace professionals. James sent one text. I hope you're proud of yourself. You destroyed your own brother. I blocked his number. 4 months later, I stood in SpaceX's Launch Control Center at Cape Canaveral, watching the countdown for Starlink Mission 47. My automation system, fully integrated, tested, and certified, was managing the entire pre-flight sequence. T-minus 10 seconds. The control room fell silent. The system requested final authorization. Primary developer clearance required. Dr. Maya Chen, authenticate. I placed my hand on the biometric scanner and entered my security code. Authorization confirmed. Proceeding with automated launch sequence. The Falcon 9 lifted off perfectly. The automation handled every phase flawlessly: propellant loading, engine ignition, stage separation, payload deployment. Everything I designed working exactly as intended. The control room erupted in applause. Dr. Kimura approached, smiling. Flawless execution. Your system performs exactly as promised. Thank you. Your brother called yesterday. Asked if we'd consider a consulting arrangement. Said he had valuable insights into system architecture. What did you tell him? I told him we already have the system architect on staff. We don't need a consultant who took credit for her work. That evening I sat in my new apartment near the Kennedy Space Center, the one I could actually afford now, and pulled up the news coverage. Articles referred to me as the engineer behind SpaceX's revolutionary launch automation. James was mentioned only as former CEO whose technical contributions remain disputed. My parents called. My father's voice was stiff, formal. Maya, we saw the launch coverage. Congratulations on your success. We're proud of you. Are you? Or are you just saying that now that I'm worth $980 million? Silence. Then my mother, that's not fair, Maya. What's not fair is spending 32 years telling me James was the smart one, the successful one, the one we should be proud of, when the entire time I was the one actually building things that worked. We didn't mean. Yes, you did. James got credit because he was confident and charismatic and told good stories. I got dismissed because I was quiet and technical and just wrote code. Well, it turns out the code matters more than the story. Maya, he's your brother. He's struggling now. Can't you help him? He stole credit for 4 years of my work and sold it for billions. He's struggling because his fraud caught up with him. That's not my problem to solve. I ended the call. James moved to Austin and started a new venture. Something about AI and logistics. The tech community is skeptical. His credibility is permanently damaged. Investors won't touch anything with his name attached. I don't feel guilty. I spend my days designing launch systems for actual rockets. My name is on the patents. My face is in wired and IE spectrum. My code controls billion-dollar spacecraft. Last week, SpaceX announced plans for a Mars mission using an extended version of my automation system. They're calling it the Chin Protocol. Not the James Protocol. The Chin Protocol. My protocol. Because I designed it. I built it. I earned it. And nobody, not my brother, not my parents, not anyone, can take that away from me now. Every launch logs the same authorization message. System activated by Dr. Maya Chin, principal engineer. Not James. Me. Because I wrote every critical line. I earned every credential. And the rockets know the difference even if my family didn't. They know now.